certainly not to my surprise, my legs are thrashed. So that actually is gonna play a role in what kind of lifts I do today. Because if my legs are totally beaten into the ground, I might not be so interested in, picking up some crazy heavy dumbbells off the floor. So I think the heavy pressing portion of today's chest day will be more barbell, Smith machine, maybe cable press, that sort of thing, right? And then kind of go from there. But when it comes to which press you should be doing, personally, I'm inclined to use a bit more incline, right? For the most part, everybody's rocking at least a relatively underdeveloped upper chest. Your lower chest gets worked all the time. Your lower chest gets worked during incline. Like if somebody were to, if I'm doing like an incline press, I can still feel my lower pec is contracting, right? It's still getting worked. But in something like a dip, your upper chest might still be a little relaxed, whereas like your pec, pec minor and everything else is really getting the brunt of the actual workload, But when it comes to which one is better, should you do incline barbell for overall mass, and then should you do incline dumbbell for toning and striations, or should you do incline Smith machine for separations? No, man, right? Because honestly, even just think about it at the level of your perspective versus your chest's perspective, right? For you, if you get onto an incline dumbbell or an incline Smith machine or an incline barbell, very different movements, totally different sides of the gym. Now you're holding the bar, now the bar is on a fixed track, now you're holding this dumbbell, whatever. So there's definitely a difference in that you're going to activate different stabilizers, right? Like probably the most with the dumbbell and the least with the Smith machine. But purely from your chest's perspective, right, it's getting a lot of tension and it's being exerted against that force. It doesn't necessarily know you're doing a machine or a barbell or a dumbbell or whatever, right? So I'm not saying you should only pick one movement because it doesn't matter. What I'm trying to get at more so is like, don't freak. Just change it up every so often, and if one really clicks for you, maybe lean into it. I've gone through months on end where I was like a barbell Smith machine hater, basically doing all dumbbell bench, and then I've gone a while doing more barbell, and then I've gone a while doing more Smith machine, and sometimes leveraging more like machine presses. It's, just change it up, kind of, and go with the flow of things. And that's one more kind of benefit of not having a like strictly written out routine. You can adapt, right? If the gym, oh shit. All right, I just realized I'm gonna have to adapt. Today is Monday. It's National Chest Day, all right? So looks like everybody's gonna be doing chest tonight. But since I don't have like Smith machine or barbell bench locked into my mind as what I have to do first, then no biggie, right? Maybe I'll warm up, get exposed to some weight, and end up just picking some kind of heavier movement that's really just open, right? And going from there. But yeah, crap. I totally forgot today was National Chest Day. Well, no reason to let that get you down. I can almost guarantee it's not going to be too packed either. It's almost 8 o'clock, right? So it should have kind of tapered off. But I think no more talking. Let's just get started with movement number 1. 3 plates was very doable, but I'm going to curb my ego, keep it on the safe side. Only 3 plates and a 25. So this will be, well, I'm approaching as heavy as I can go, but I got to be careful, right? What am I? Oh, what's his name? Oh, played Patrick Bateman, Batman. Well, whatever. When he was in that one racing movie, he has his, he's driving the Ford, or the whichever, and he's redlining it, but he's like, he doesn't want to push it too far, right? You don't want to blow your engine. That's what I'm trying to do here. And 4 would be a little too much, but let's just get hands up, make this shit happen. Yeah. 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 Okay. Oh my God. One more rep may have been possible, but let's do 3 plates for the next one, because I'm sure that took a lot of endurance out of me. One more. Holy crap. Oh. Yeah. Smith was freaking perfect today. Oh my God. That might have been too much. In a good way though. So those were, well, very upper chest focused sets of pressing. Now let's change it up a little bit. Now I'm not going to do like top to bottom flies. I will bend over a little bit, but this execution will be very different because I want to have like a nasty flex hold at the bottom. And what I want to do is as many holding reps of like a full second as I can. No real body language, like maybe just a little, but like marginal. Like these are not cheat reps. And then once I get to a point where I can no longer hold it at all, and I'm just doing reps, I'll pump out as many as I can that way. And then once those are getting tricky, I might get a little nasty with it. But those are the 3 phases. Clean with a hold, clean, dirty, which is a pretty natural progression. Don't go too dirty, but I don't think you should go too clean either. I'm about to turn the camera off. What the hell am I doing? Let's hit this shit. All right. Oh my God. One more like that. That was really good. That was actually better than I freaking expected. Okay. Oh my God. Let's grab a bench. The next set is going to be right here. We're getting close to the end here. Heavy pressing, squeezing flies, and then now some lighter squeezing pressing, a combination of both worlds. Come on. One more. Yeah. 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 God. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I think that's enough. Holy crap.
Well, my biggest thing is like when I come in right now.
I think my Smith freaking killed me. Yeah, in a good way. Still post down. There we go. All right, chest fully pumped. And they nerfed the lighting here. Not ideal. The room beyond the wall that we're looking at right here, that's the sweet spot. That's the good stuff. That's the, I don't know, what's the approximate height to find diamonds? Either way, that's it. But a little side lighting, it's kind of freaky too, right? Just kind of turn up the sensitivity. But 6 set chest day, 3 of them being pretty heavy, nasty, conventional sets. 2 being some very squeeze-focused, kind of, gradual fatigue building burnout sets. And then 1 similar set with that press, because it was like light squeezing in the beginning. And as I got weaker, okay, get some nasty ones. But either way, it seems as though it has all worked out rather freaking nicely. Holy crap. Let me actually hit one more of those. Oh my gosh. That most mustard is actually making me freaking lightheaded. But only 1 more pose left. Or actually, no more pose. 1 more piece of clothes. Get the sweater back on. And then I'll see you in the car. Well, you could look at it in such a way as though you could say that I had a really good workout. Was in the zone. Everything was clicking. Right? One might say that I'm a lucky freaking guy to have had such an awesome chest day tonight. But not so sure I concur. I'm not exactly certain that luck had anything to do with the fact that I drank 3 liters of water already. Or actually, no, was it? Yeah, 4 liters of water already, not including the pre-workout and some of the intra-workout drink. The fact that I was well rested, had a good amount of food. Now, the quality of the food, at least my lunch, I can throw it up in the air. I mean, let's be real, is the remains of a caniac exactly the kind of gas I need? Maybe not, but in moderation. Calories are still calories, right? And then mentality-wise, shit, man, I'm freaking jumping. I'm ready to get in there. And what I'm trying to get at is there's a lot of factors that once you start to take control of them, things are just going to start to click. It's I'm trying to think of a. Let me think here. I'm trying to think of a. I can't think of an exact example that might play into it, but I mean, it would just make sense, Like if I could give anybody, well, So I was even just talking to somebody about this earlier. I don't really care for the fact that people make fitness very black and white, right? Like with some things, the rules are pretty black and white, you know? There are certainly rules out there in the freaking world, you know? But with working out, it's more of a gray area, you know? Because there's a lot of ways to do it. And with things like that, you know, don't fall for the trap of trying to think that there's only one way too. You know, somebody can get jacked doing at-home, fully body weight-based workouts. I mean, anybody who's seen any kind of fitness-based memes before, I'm sure you've heard the story of the guy who was eating gorilla chow, doing gorilla-based workouts. Right? He somehow managed to find somewhere that sold gorilla feed by like the 100 pounds of bags, and that was like his primary, diet. And I think he posted like some before and afters, and he actually made like noticeable progress. You know, and then we've got the characters where, you know, they want every workout to be, I can explain why I did this, and I have the studies to back it up. I can explain why I did this, and why I have the studies to back it up. And don't take that as hate, you know. I don't have a training log tracking all my lifts and my sets and my numbers, because I kind of take it a little more nuanced. But as long as I know I'm trying to kill it on a set-by-set basis, I always do see progressive overload in my weight gaining phases. And just looking at the mirror, year after year after year, even though it's starting to slow down, you know, I'm not going to suddenly be twice as big in a year as I was the year before. I'm still making progress. But I'm not trying to say that that's wrong, you know, because whatever kind of training that you like to do that gets you excited about it, that gets you motivated to come into the gym and continue to hit it, then that's how you should do it, right? Because that's your preference. There is room for personal preference in fitness, at least in your training, you know? So when anybody says, dude, you should not be doing, or you have to do a 2-second eccentric, bro. You have to do a 1-second hold on every set. Dude, you're leaving gains on the table. Seriously? If somebody kills it, if somebody actually kills it on like a set of, bench or squats or leg extensions or whatever, and they're doing kind of nasty reps, not too nasty. You can definitely go too nasty. That's what I'm saying here. But maybe a little nasty, getting a little bit of swing, but they feel it in their targeted muscle. They're taking themselves to as close to failure as they can actually get, and they're getting pumped, and they're making gains steadily over time. Then what they're doing is working, you know? That's like if I'm eating a bowl of orange vanilla swirl, or I've got like an orange vanilla cone, and I'm having a dandy old time, and then I walked up to somebody with a chocolate cone, and I said, hey, guess what? You actually like that shit? Smacking onto the floor. It's like, what is it really your place to tell somebody what kind of training they like to do? You know, there's certainly arguments for like, okay, what are some good training principles, right? Like, but those don't really extend too far. There's not a freaking is it tablets of commandments? Yeah, there's no tablets with the 10 commandments of working out, where if you break away from any of them, you're suddenly screwed and you're not going to grow any muscle. You know, there's some leeway. So I'm more concerned with go hard in a way that you like and that you can logically get your head behind and say, okay, all right, this makes sense to me. Because for me, at least, you know, when some guys like, I've been through it before. I've had back when I was in school, we had a trainer for diving. So I was doing a diving workout in the morning and then my real workout at night. And really there was no point to that beginning workout. It was just, whatever. But having somebody, like imagine you've got a trainer and the guy is telling you real arbitrary, just random stuff. And it's like, the guy who's listening to that, if he doesn't understand the reason why, if he doesn't have like a grasp of like, okay, this actually does make sense, I understand the logic, okay, all right, so now that I have the whole picture, I really want to push it because I know it's going to actually result in, something or other, right? Like, just to tell somebody, hey man, you need to hold the squeeze more, or you need to whatever, any kind of tip, and just to say that and to just like constantly blab the same basic shit without the explanation behind it as to why you even believe it, then you're not giving advice. You're just making random ass statements. You're just adding fluff into the world. It's like when guys say, dude, man, I just can't gain weight. I'm training 6 days a week. I feel like I'm eating a ton of food. I just can't gain weight. And then someone's advice is, eat more food, bro. Calories in, calories out. It's like, yeah, you're right, but that's not advice. That's just like a statement. An actual tip would be, all right, well, you definitely do need to get more calories in. How are you going to do that, right? Maybe eat some more calorie-dense foods. Make sure you have a really big breakfast. Make sure you don't save a bunch of calories for nighttime and then you can't really get them in before bed. Like things like that. You need a statement and an explanation behind it. So in a more of a personal level, that's kind of how I end up training. It's like, all right, today's chest day, let's change it up. Let's do some Smith bench. Let's start with 3 heavy sets. I know it's gonna put a good dent into my chest's ability to work. I'm definitely gonna be pumped afterwards, and I'm gonna build up some fatigue from some heavy mechanical tension. All right, 3 sets ish of heavy Smith bench makes sense to me. Now I just did some heavy bench, some heavy incline pressing. Let's change it up, do some lighter squeezing, slightly decline flies, right? Totally different movement, totally different style of execution, and still taking me towards that end goal for the lift of chest annihilation, as well as, getting my chest as pumped as possible. So it's like, whatever kind of workouts you like to do and that get you going, go as hard as you can with them, and then as long as you're making reasonably substantial and steady progress, dude, you're good, right? Because that's the point at the end of the day. I mean, I think it's such a silly argument to say like which training is objectively right and which training is objectively wrong. I'm more concerned with my progress. If somebody was doing a full year of like full body every other day training and the guy made like pretty damn substantial gains, how can you argue with that end result? It's like the ends justify the means in a sense. So that's where I'm more concerned with making the conversation about lifts a conversation, right? A discussion. It's not an argument, but we're getting into some real deep kind of human nature. We love to argue. Arguing just hits you in the right spot, especially now that you can do it on your phone and you don't actually have to be in front of somebody. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many comment threads I've seen, real deep back and forth paragraphs. Well, the length and overhead was just absolute craziness, so go hard, go home. That's the basic gist. There's branches underneath that umbrella statement, but overall, I think the guys who go hard and go home on a consistent basis, indefinitely, right? They're the ones who continue to make real gains. And one thing I've kind of noticed, all the guys who actually make these style of critiques are the guys who actually have been working out for years on end and kind of understand the process that it's not a one-size-fit-all kind of thing. So if you're the type of character where you're really diving deep into making sure you're doing the most scientifically backed up hypertrophy inducing styles of sets and everything else, go as hard as you can, but I think eventually you'll start to realize might not be as complicated as I thought. The tricky part isn't making it complicated, it's just doing it for years on end, and you can't really rush that, so more of a waiting game. But awesome chest day. I can go to bed feeling like a winner, at least in terms of the lift. So now all I gotta do is stop at cheats, get gas, and go home and eat something before I go to bed. So I'll see you tomorrow for some back.